Welcome 8th grade. I'm so sorry I can't be with you today. We have a swim meet in Taipei, so I'm away for that. We are starting a new project today, which is kind of different, me not being there, but we'll do the best we can. We're doing our spirit animal, and we're creating geometric shapes on this organic figure. So, without further ado, let's get started. You all should have emailed me a picture of your spirit animal, or some of us may have printed it off in class last time. But if you emailed me one, I printed it off. They're going to be in black and white. We don't need to see the color for this project, so it's okay that they're black and white. Don't worry about it. If you didn't send me one, if you forgot, I printed off some animals, and you're just going to have to use one of those. So make sure you have your picture. You are also going to need a pencil and a black marker. Alright, so you have your animal, and you have your reference image printed out. You can choose to either use marker or pencil. I recommend using pencil first and then going back over with marker. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to start with marker. So what you're going to do is break up your animal, which is an organic shape, into geometric shapes. They should have all straight edges. I know technically circle is geometric, but for the purpose of this project, it's best that you use straight edges, and you'll see why when we get to the final step. So the first thing I recommend doing is outlining your animal. I just find a spot to start, make a straight line. When the angle changes, I change my line, go straight, angle changes, and I just go all the way around my animal. It's up to you how many details you include on the outside. I like these little triangle scales or whatever they are, so I'm going to choose to include them. It's going to make the process a little more challenging for me, but it's also going to make a better final image. So something I would recommend thinking about. Okay. It's kind of hard to see all of his features with the grass down below, but I'm going to do my best. Alright, then I'm going to make sure I have his most important features For example, his eyes and sort of this mouth outlined, maybe his nose. Okay, and the turtle shell is kind of easy because it's already sort of broken down into geometric shapes. But with whatever animal you have, I recommend finding planes. So that means if it was three-dimensional in front of you, where it sort of changes shape, where it goes from one side to the other. Or you can just kind of break it down however you see it working best. So, for example, I sort of see a plane here, but maybe I want to break it up, whoops, and have that shape there. You can kind of do whatever looks best to you. Alright, and there you have your first step complete. Alright, so step 2, we'll be drawing your geometric animal onto this painted black paper. Now it's very important that you flip it over so you're drawing on the white side. How I recommend going about this, I use a white pencil to find those big basic shapes to help us draw. So for example, I see a large circle, a large circle here. Maybe it also works with a normal pencil, I guess. Maybe you can see it. See that? Okay. Then I notice there's kind of a shape out here. I see a circle for the head and sort of this half oval out here. These are, I don't know if you can see them, but these are my big basic shapes. So I'm going to look at those and use them to help me draw on my final paper. Now you want to use as much space as you can. So for example, I'm going to have to draw my animal bigger than what I see here. So start with that big circle for the shell. Okay, then I see, now I'm looking at this shape over here. Okay, studying it, making sure I've really looked at it, not just imagined it. Oops, something like this. All right, and the other side again, looking at this big shape here. I'm gonna see where it comes off of my original circle. It kind of goes out like here. And then finally, I'm looking at where the circle for my head is. I can see that it overlaps the shape I just drew, but it doesn't quite touch the circle over here. There's a little bit of a gap in between. So I'm gonna go over, make sure there's a little bit of a gap. And the head is something right about there. All right. Then, to be more safe, I could find the shapes of these legs, draw those on as well, just so I have them there. One and the other one comes out. Right about here. All right. So, sorry, maybe I'll add in this little guy back here. So it doesn't look like much, but this is what we need for our foundation to begin the next step. All right, the next step would be to use what I've drawn here as guidelines on the foundational shape that I've drawn. So for example, if I'm looking at the head, I see I have a straight line here, and then it kind of goes down, out, and down as it goes around the circle. So again, probably best to do this first in pencil. So I'm gonna go kind of straight out. Oops, maybe a little straighter than that. Down here. You can see the shapes I'm following here. There's his little mouthpiece. And I'm not thinking about seeing a turtle anymore. I'm thinking about finding these shapes that I've drawn, trying to get the shapes to match as closely to my original drawing as possible. Let's see. And as I can go, I can see that this space is way bigger than this space. So that tells me, as I look at it, that I think this whole section needs to come down a little bit. So I'll work on that. All right, so now I'm back. I, again, fixed the little space here. You can see that I've moved it down, and I've also drawn the rest of my turtle here. If you notice, this area I decided to add a few different shapes. You can go ahead and do that. I thought it looked more interesting with smaller shapes down here, so I chose to do that. Alright, after you've drawn all of your original lines, for the purpose of this project, it's best if you make them a little thicker. So I'm going to go around my entire project and just make sure I've marked each of those lines nice and thick, and you'll see why that matters with the next step. I also have one spot that I want to be completely black, which is his eye. So I'm just going to color that in. I had only just a little dot over here, but I need to make sure there are no floating shapes. So I've just turned his nose into sort of a diamond shape over there.